Hello and welcome to ESLLearningPod.com. My name is Paul Marks and this podcast is about effective presentation openings. Now, before you ever go into a presentation, you should always make sure that you have planned and prepared well. Never leave anything to chance. If you have not planned well and you don't know how to start off your presentation, you will find that you're setting yourself up for failure. However, if you've planned and you know how you're going to start, there's a good chance that your presentation will be successful. So the first lesson is make sure that you have prepared. Now there are 5 steps that we can follow in order to make a formal opening to our presentation. The first step, step 1, greet the audience. Here I have made an example for you that you can follow. Good morning everyone. As you know, my name's Paul Marks and I'm speaking to you today as a trainer from ESLLearningPod.com. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present to you today. I hope that you find this presentation interesting, helpful, useful. Okay, let's get started. Now before we move on to step 2, I just want you to know that the 3 words at the bottom, interesting, helpful, or useful, should only be used once, or only one of them should be used. You can choose interesting, helpful or useful, but do not use all 3. Okay, let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2, state the topic. Tell your audience what you're going to be presenting about. Again, I have some examples here to help you with that. So example number 1. Today I would like to present our sales figures to you. Number 2. What I'd like to do this morning is to talk to you about the findings of the survey we conducted. And example number 3. The subject of my presentation is effective openings. Again, you can use any one of these phrases to state your topic. All you have to do is change the end part to suit you. Let's move on to step number 3. Step number 3. Give the outline to your audience. Make sure that they know what will be happening during your presentation. Again, I've made some examples for you. There are 3 main parts to my presentation. To begin with, I shall introduce the sales figures. Following that, I shall analyze the figures. And last but not least, I will look at an action plan for improving the figures for next year. The second example. The subject will be looked at under the following headings. Firstly, introduction of the sales figures. Secondly, an analysis of the sales figures. And finally, an action plan for next year. Step number 4. Always make sure that you tell your audience how long your presentation will last. Example number 1. This will be brief. It should only last 15 minutes. Example number 2. I will only take 30 minutes of your time. And example number 3. The presentation will take about 2 hours, but there will be a 20-minute break in the middle. And step 5, the last step in this podcast, tell your audience when you will take questions or when you can answer questions. My advice is to leave the question time till the end of the presentation so that you know that you have enough time to finish your presentation. However, here are 4 different ways that you can tell your audience when they can answer their questions. There will be time at the end for questions and comments. Please save any questions for the end of the talk. If you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt. Please feel free to ask questions as we go along. Okay, so there are 5 steps for a formal opening to a presentation. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. The next podcast will be about advanced opening techniques. Please look at our website for all the podcasts on the presentation series. Thanks for listening. I hope I've been helpful. And please don't forget to visit esllearningpod.com. Bye-bye.